here with Omar Bolden. Thank you so much for coming on Perform.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Thanks for having me on, Jason.
So tell us a little bit about, like, going to college, what that was like, and then, obviously getting drafted to the NFL. Were you expected, when you got drafted, did you think you were going to get drafted when you got drafted? And, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. I guess I have to say that just starting early on as a kid, from the moment I fell in love with the sport, I knew I was going to play in the NFL. I didn't know how I was going to get there. And it's kind of hard to explain how a 13-year-old kid could have that feeling. But, when it's like loving an individual, or even something more materialistic like a sneaker or a car, when So, I was blessed and fortunate enough to get drafted by Denver in the 4th round. I was completely the last year of my college career, or year and a half, kind of was really unexpected. I tore my ACL, which caused me to miss my senior year. And that happened maybe like 2 months after I decided to come back to school, because I thought about leaving early, entering the draft early. I got a 4th round draft grade projection. So that caused me to come back, because I just felt like I was 1st round talent. So, I was like, all right, cool, I'll come back to school. And then I ended up tearing my ACL. So that was like something that you can't anticipate shit like that, that's just life. But I was able to get back healthy, or at least healthy enough, because I would say I wasn't back to 100% till midway of my rookie season. But, I was able to get back healthy enough to where Denver felt confident enough to take a chance on me in the 4th round. So that was great. That was an awesome, awesome time of my life. Like, I always knew it was coming. I didn't know it was going to be Denver. So even it being so awesome, and one of the greatest moments of my life, because I had felt like that from 10 years before. I got drafted at 23. So at 10 years ago, I had that vision. It wasn't like one of those things that was like overly emotional for me. Like, I was excited, but I wasn't like crying. I wasn't like, I just kind of felt like I had already, like, this was I manifested this a long time ago, Wow. And before I could even understand or even understood what the word manifesting was, as an adolescent, I visioned it. I saw it every night. I used to stay up watching freaking NFL Network every day. I'm like, yo, they're going to talk about me one day. They're going to talk about me one day. And, I got my foot in the door. Nice. Unfortunately, my personal career didn't go as well as I wanted it to. But as far as like team accolades, man, I've been to the mountaintop twice, and walked away with some hardware. So, and that right there is something I'll never forget, and whether my personal career went the way I wanted to or not, I'm so blessed and grateful to have that opportunity to not only be on that team, to experience the highs and lows of winning and losing a championship. And then I think most importantly is just developing those relationships with those guys in those locker rooms that, I still have today. So whether we're just catching up and shooting the shit on football or life, or talking about family, or whether we're actually talking about doing business together, I think those things are priceless, and things that I don't take for granted at all.
Tell us a little bit about the manifestation that you talked about, because I know a lot of people out there obviously are like, shit, man, if this guy can manifest going to the NFL, like, I want to manifest money, or I want to manifest this. What tips or what do you do to manifest? Like, for people who don't know, can you give us insight?
Well, I mean, do you want to know my thought process then, or would you like to know it now?
Like whatever you think would be most beneficial.
You got it. I think what's important, and I think if you want to manifest something, you have to first know what you're after. You have to define what it is that you want and where you're going, right? Because it's really hard to get to that place if you don't know how to get there. And you'll find out how to get there by defining what it is that you want and where you want to go, right? So first you have to identify that. All right, then you have to make the necessary steps daily, weekly, annually, right? that put you in a position to get to that point and that destination, right? And that in itself takes a lot of discipline, right? A lot of discipline, a lot of self-belief, a lot of sleepless nights, you know. Sometimes that's what it takes, or maybe not sleepless nights, but really early mornings, you know. Everyone doesn't have sleepless nights. Sometimes that just happens, you know, when your brain is just racing with different things. But yeah, you know, it's something you got to believe, eat, sleep, you know, with all the time if you truly want it to happen. You know, other than that, you know, there's so many other distracting voices, opinions, you know, and thoughts that occur throughout the day that could deter you from, you know, your ultimate goal. So it's important to stay locked in on that, you know, surround yourself with people that are going to help you or that are going to keep you accountable, right? Or even like being today's day and age, like being very cautious of like the information you're consuming and like the, I guess, content that you're digesting, you know, like all of that shit plays a major role and factor in this variable, you know, so yeah, I think that's how you start it, you know, and then also too, you got to put the work in, you know, like that confidence of me saying that, you know, I'm going to go to the league, I'm going to be in the league. That confidence came from the work. You know, I understood like what I was doing when no one was watching, you know, so it was like, shit, there's nothing you could tell me. Cause like, while you're going out and I speak back to at that time in particular, cause I'm remembering a specific time of me going to the gym in the summertime. And it was like, yo, while y'all going out and partying, you know, it's the summer. I mean, I'm hitting 24 and I'm still getting to the party, you know, I'm just coming an hour and a half later than y'all arrived, you know, but I got my work in. And when I was at the gym, I didn't see any of you there. And some of y'all are my competitors, you know, so I know you're not working harder than me, you know, and at the time, you know, there comes a time where you got to work really, really hard. Right. And that's like when you're young, but and then as you get older, you know, you start to understand, okay, now I can start working a little bit smarter. But like when you first started, it's like, yo, I'm putting it in more than anybody else. You know, I'm not letting anybody else outwork me. So I think that's just, I had that, my dad, he's somewhat of a militant dude, you know? So wasn't really strict in the house, but like if I said I was going to do something, he was going to make me do that, you know? So I had to be very careful with my choice of words. And yeah, all of those type of things, you know, helped me, you know, manifest what I wanted. So
when you got to the NFL, you know, was there somebody that you banged with where you were like, holy shit, like it just was like the power and the strength, maybe it was a running back that you hit, somebody that you were like it just really took you by storm?
Yeah, I think year 2, if anybody knows anything about the NFL and how the business side of it works, right? If you're drafted in rounds 1 through 3, right, you have an obligation, a financial obligation to the franchise to be on the field, right? Just because of how much money they're investing in you. If you're drafted in rounds like 4 through 7 and undrafted, right, they don't necessarily have to put you on the field, right? You kind of got to like fight and scrap. I was on that side where I had to really fight and scrap to get on the field. On top of that, I played behind, which at this point now will be eventually, there's already one Hall of Famer, but it'll be 2 Hall of Famers at my position, you know? So it was really hard for me to kind of crack the lineup. Year 2, I'm playing corner, but I'm a smart player and I'm physical. So, you know, I have some versatility in my game, you know, so I could play multiple positions. And I think, I'm not sure how it happened. I think maybe it was one day just at practice at scout team, I kind of jumped in and played a little bit of safety just to give us a look. You know, the coaching staff may have, I guess they liked what they saw and said, hey, you know what? Hey, 4th game of the preseason. Oh, I know you've been playing corner, but you're going to go out and play safety. You're going to start safety this game. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, and if you're not too familiar with defense and football, you know, as a corner, my responsibility is pretty simple. You know, they move me to a new position, you know, at a random time, you know, so I go from corner to playing safety. And the 4th preseason of the game, and, you know, I barely know, like, yeah, as a safety, you're like the quarterback of the secondary. You have to communicate to everyone else to make sure everyone is on the same page. I'm used to, being told, what the play is or what the communication is. And now I have to make those type of adjustments and communication calls myself. So I'm out there kind of just playing raw, like, I'm not really too comfortable, but what I do know is I fly around. If I hit somebody, I might make a play, I had the opportunity. We're playing Arizona. They pitched the ball to the running back. I think it was Tim Hightower at the time. It's a swing. So I think it was like a pitch, to their right-hand side. I'm coming downhill from free safety. So I'm coming from like 12 deep. And him and I meet at like 7 yards, it was instant collision. And, I actually got the better of him on that, which shit, people have gotten the best of me as well. I just want to put that out there. But, I happened to win that battle that day. But I remember getting up like, holy, yo, my bell is ringing right now. I wasn't used to that type of physical play, on the outside as a corner. I'm usually going against guys my height, my size, So yeah, that was like my welcome to the NFL. Yo, this is physical, in the preseason of year 2. Year 1, I didn't really experience any of that. I made a lot of plays on special teams as a rookie, and I didn't experience any type of contact like that, until year 2. So I was like, oh yeah, man, I'm out here dealing with some real grown men.
Yeah. Was there, when you came to the NFL, you got there, was there a moment in time where this shit was surreal? Maybe you were like running out of the tunnel. Maybe you were in the locker room. Like, was there a moment where you were like, oh, shit, like I'm in the NFL? Like, can you give us?
Yeah. I know it's such a small game, but for me, it was game 1, game 1. And for me, it's a couple different reasons, right? One, it was obviously the first one in the NFL. I know it was a preseason game, but still, it was the first one in the NFL. And for me, I hadn't played football in over a year. The last time I played ball was December of 2010. Wow. So I'm back on the field in August of 2012. So I got a lot of nerves, from various different reasons. One being in, like, I'm like, holy shit, I'm in the league. But 2, I'm like, damn, man, like, I'm just, will my knee hold up, man? Am I going to get back to being the same player I used to be? So it was a lot of different things going through my head. So for me, that moment was my rookie year, game 1 against Chicago Bears. Even though it was a preseason game, the stakes weren't high, but still I was like, I'm here, man. I can't believe I'm actually on the NFL. Like, I'm on the grass. I'm on the grass again, man. And on top of that, I'm in an NFL stadium. I'm in a city I've never been in. Like, this is what it's all about, So that moment for me was huge.
Tell us a little bit about like how your career kind of like came to an end. Like, for people who don't know, give us some insight on that.
Yeah. For one thing that was great about me, that I was, I had something going for myself in Denver, was, I for the most part, I stayed relatively healthy. In 3 years, I missed 1 game due to a concussion that I got on Sunday. And the only reason why I couldn't play in the next game is because we played on Thursday, so we had a short week. But for the most part, through injuries, no matter what it was, I played in every game from my rookie year all the way, with the exception of 1 through my 3rd year. I go into my 4th year, and my 4th year, we get a new coaching staff. I actually have the best opportunity I've ever had in my NFL career to compete for a starting job, So like, I'm extremely excited. I'm actually flourishing. I'm starting to flourish at the free safety position, as we kind of touched on it, about my year 2. But year 2, I played both positions. Year 3, I ended up playing both positions, corner and safety. And then going into year 4, solely safety. So all of off season, I had time to prepare. I didn't have to think about playing corner or playing both or doing all of that. I had ample enough time and opportunity to do what I needed to do to compete for that spot. So that was really exciting. Unfortunately, we go into, I think, the 3rd preseason game. We're playing San Francisco 49ers, and it's 3 safeties that are battling for 1 spot right now. It's me, Darian Stewart, and David Bruton. These are all three of my good friends, you know, and obviously we connected for life because we won a championship together. But anyways, we're all three competing for the spot. So, you know, I get an opportunity to go out there early in the first quarter. I think it was maybe at the start of the second quarter. I'm hustling to the ball in the middle of a play, and play's coming to an end, and I get blindsided by a player. And I end up, I think, cracking or bruising a rib. It ended up putting me out for the rest of the game, all of game 4. And I barely got cleared to play in game 1. So I come back into game 1. We're at the end of the game. We're playing the Ravens. It's third down. It's like third and 12. I don't know, something third and distance, whatever it was. But I'm at free safety. They hike the ball. Joe Flacco goes back. He throws to Steve Smith. Akeem Talib picks it off. We break for the end zone. On my break to the end zone, because I know Talib gonna score, but I break to the end zone, and something oddly happens to my foot. You know, it's like I took a step, and I'm just like, damn, something feels off. You know, I go to the sideline. We ended up winning the game. I think that was at the end of the game, so I didn't have to go back in the game anyway. So I come into the locker room. I'm like, yo, I finished the game, but like something's wrong with my foot. You know, I come in the next day, and the doctor diagnoses me with plantar fasciitis. Right. So for those who aren't familiar with that type of injury, it's really painful injury. It kind of feels like you're walking on glass. It feels like there's glass in your heel. You know, anytime you put pressure on it, it hurts. And anytime it gets cold or stiff, you know, it's gonna be very painful, you know. So I battled that injury for about, I want to say, 3 weeks. So I missed week 2 through week 4, came back week 5, played week 5, week 6, week 7. I think it was like week 7, I scored my first NFL touchdown on a punt return. That was an incredible experience. And it happened because our starting punt returner went down, you know. And this just goes to show you got to stay ready, you know, because you never know when an opportunity is going to come knocking. You know, at practice, I always went back and caught punts, but I never thought I would actually get in the game to do it, you know. And our punt returner goes down, so I had to go in, and our players executed the play perfectly. I scored a touchdown, right? So I got some great momentum rolling into the later half of the season. You know, I'm in the rotation on defense. You know, I'm like, I'm not starting, but I'm getting everything that I want. You know, like on top of that, I'm like, whether I get to start or not, as long as I continue to put out good tape, you know, I'm in my contract year. Like whether I sign with Denver or someone else, you know, I'm still going to continue to live out my dream and feed my family. We head into week 14. We're playing the San Diego Chargers at home. And I pull my hamstring in the game. I bust off another nice punt return. And then a couple plays later, I'm on the field on defense. Some fluke happens. I'm running and I pull my hamstring. Right. So I missed the next 3 or 4 games of the season. And then I come back in the playoffs, playing Pittsburgh at home. Have a nice punt return. The next play, I get on the field, you know, I take off running down the field on a punt, and, you know, I blow out my knee. I tear my ACL, my PCL, my right knee, non-contact. No one hurt. No one touched me, you know? So my final year was kind of just plagued by injuries, you know, and, you know, it's like a domino effect, you know, in terms of the body, you know, like if one thing gets injured and it doesn't heal properly, you know, it could affect another area of the body, you know, could lead you, which will allow you to like overcompensate in certain areas. And that's kind of just one thing that I was doing, you know, as a pro athlete, you know, your job is to play, you know, you get paid to play in the game, not to go to practice or do anything else, you know, so our job is to be on the field. And even if that comes at me not putting 100% on the field sometimes, you know, whatever it is, whatever it takes, if I can help the team win, like it's my job to be on the field, you know, and, you know, there are countless players around the country, you know, and in the NFL and in the college level, even in high school, you know, who are just going to experience those certain type of things. And sometimes you catch the short end of the stick, you know, and unfortunately for me, you know, that's where my career ended. You know, I tried to I took time and letting it heal. even had surgery, try to give it another crack, and failed a physical with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was a year and a half later after that injury. So at that point, for me, it was like, maybe it's just best for me to walk away, So, yeah, I think I have a good job. I think I do a good job, an awesome job of sensing energy, feeling vibes, and understanding, your wave. You can't ride a wave forever. Eventually that shit gonna die out. It's gonna ride the shore, and you got to swim back out to the ocean, catch another one. And the NFL wave for me was just short. It was only 4 years, but I rode the hell out of it, while I was there. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, unfortunately, that injury that injured my career, it's just one of those things that's, it just comes out of nowhere, just like any type of transition in all of our lives. So it's going to be unexpected. You can't anticipate it, and you're just going to have to be able to roll with the punches, And
what wave are you on these days? Like what's going on with you after the NFL?
Yeah. I initially thought I wanted to do fashion. Like I have a serious passion for being, just being into style and fashion. I worked with the company shortly after I was done playing. I started a company, a high-end menswear in New York. And I realized that working behind the scenes of fashion wasn't something I wanted to do. I like being fresh. I like being fly, but that wasn't my thing. But what just spoke to me naturally, what came to me naturally was just fitness, it's something I had an extreme passion for. Like I want to be fit. I always wanted to be fit, and those come from the old days of just playing football. You want to be the best one in shape, you'd be the best one in shape. You'd be the best in the fourth quarter. Right. So I had that type of mindset. But I've also always had the ability to connect with other people, and to bring the best out of others, and that's kind of the wave that I'm on now. I've transitioned into training and helping other people change their lives, both mentally and physically, and yeah, that's the wave that I'm on now. And on top of that too, in the future too, in the near future, hopefully in the very near future, I would love to do some more on-screen entertainment. I have a passion for being in front of the camera. Hence the reason why I create content on my YouTube channels, with my girlfriend and my personal one as well. On top of that, just being in the content creation space as well, where we have so many different platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, freaking TikTok, Twitter, there's so many different platforms where you could express yourself creatively. And I enjoy that, Nice. I thoroughly enjoy that. So it's kind of I'm kind of like riding two waves, I'm riding the waves with the content creation space and then obviously in the training space as well.
Was there ever a time in your career where you didn't want to perform? Maybe you were going through some with your family, your girlfriend at the time, whatever it was, where you had to go out there and you had to perform. Like you were like, you know what? I don't really want to do this. And what did you do? How did you get in the mindset? Like for people out there, obviously COVID is affecting a lot of people out there. And there's a lot of people who don't want to go to work, who don't want to go to the gym. What advice can you give for these people?
There wasn't, if you're talking about playing, no, I never didn't want to go out on the field.
Okay.
Nah, not ever. Even practice. Practice was fun to me, Okay. I mean, I think the only time that I ever thought this is what I would say. Damn, I hope this game goes by fast as possible. If it was like my rookie year, we played Baltimore at home in the playoffs, first game in the playoffs, it was -2 degrees, right? So being from Southern California, that was I'm like, oh, let's get this over with, But nah, I still want to hear my name called in that stadium. I still want to make a play, So I love the stage. I love the stage. I want to be on the stage. Yeah, I never not wanted to go out there, but for those that may not want to go to work due to COVID, or may not want to do an assignment, or may not want to do a task, you have to take a really good look at yourself and reassess how disciplined you are, because that's all it is. There are times where I don't want to work out, right? But I'm still going to do it because I have discipline, right? I've never I've had many times in my life where I said, damn, I don't want to work out. We could say that. I say many times I don't want to work out, right? But I've never went to work out and left and was disappointed that I came to work out, right? So like, you could not want to go to work, but once you go to work and you get paid for that day, you're not going to be mad that you went to work that day, right? So that's where the discipline has to override the personal feelings. You got to be disciplined enough to know, like, what's the long-term goal, right? If the long-term goal is to put my family in a position to own a home and to have a better life, then I got to go to work, right? Like that, it's that simple. You know, you can't expect the best for yourself if you're not giving you the best of yourself. You know, in order to give, you got to receive, right? Or in order to receive, you got to give, right? It's a two-way street in everything that we do. You have to understand that. You know, I think discipline is the most important thing. A lot of people will say like, yo, hard work, right? But anybody could work hard one day. Anybody could come out the gate swinging on Monday. You know what I'm saying? Do you have that same energy on Thursday? Right? And you know, it's easy. It's easy in the beginning of the week, or it's easy when everyone's fresh, when everyone's feeling good. But when you're sore, you're tired, you know, or you're dealing with things, with other things in your life, you know, circumstances, you know, relationships with people, tragedy, you know, all of these things, you know, we as people have to find a way to navigate through. And I think that's where our discipline has to come into play. So, you know, if you're looking for more ways to stay disciplined, I think you could write your goals down. You know, I have a episode on my YouTube channel of like five ways to stay disciplined, you know, and I talk about that. You know, you have to write your goals down, right? If you know what you're after every day, you're gonna make better decisions, right? Your discipline gonna be more dialed in because you know what you want, right? And when I say write it down, I mean, put it someplace where it's visual, that you can see it. Like for me personally, it's a vision board, right? It's by my door every day that I walk out of my bedroom, you know? So every day that I walk by, that I'm walking out, when I'm getting ready to start my day, I know what I'm chasing, you know? I know what the goal is.
Can we see this vision board? Is it close by? Can we get a glance at this?
It's in my room.
Yeah. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see the vision board.
So like you could get a vision board. You could put little phrases like tomorrow starts here, you know? Like when I walk out every day, these are things that I see, you know, I give thanks, you know, go see, do, you feel me? Manifest your destiny, right? People that I'm inspired by, that I'm admired by, like Michael Strahan, like his transition from football to on-screen entertainment has been the best I've ever seen in sports. Anybody else other than The Rock, him and The Rock, there's no one else that's done it better. You know, like two of those guys are two of my hugest inspirations. Or things like this, like, right? I'm the greatest I'm the greatest. I said that before I even said I knew I was. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest of all time. You know, things that like inspire you to be great, or just traveling, like things like I want to travel and see the world, right? These are things that are important to me. Invest smarter, you know? Journey. I mean, peace on my journey, you know, like these are things that are important to me that I live and stand by. So it's like, you know, when I walk out the room, just like you see me, I'm walking out the door, right? I'm starting my day, right? Those are things that are in my mind, right? As I'm going to make my cup of tea, I'm getting ready to start my day, as I'm preparing for clients, as I'm thinking about, you know, my relationship with my girl, all of these things, you know? And I think, you know, those are the things that keep you more disciplined and that'll help you avoid those moments where it's like, I don't want to go to work. I mean, you can't avoid those moments, but it'll help you navigate through those moments, right? Because they're going to be tough. Because we're human. We all have them. I have them too, you know? You have them. Everyone has them, right? But if you understand the bigger purpose, right, you'll be a lot more disciplined.
Is there anything you wanted to go over or talk about today before we wrap up?
No, I just want to plug just like my things.
Yeah,
you know?
Do it, man.
Yeah.
So where can people find our info?
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at omar.bolden, on YouTube at youtube.com/Omar Bolden official. I got online training at x2workouts.com. We also have an Instagram page, X2 Workouts, which is very huge right now. You don't need much time, space, or equipment. We got pretty much things on there for everyone, all levels as well. And we also offer nutrition. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. And yeah, that's really it. Those are all the things I want to plug, my socials and then my training. That's
perfect. You got a goal, like a big goal coming up in the next 6-12 months that you're shooting for?
Yeah, it's to buy a home.
Nice.
It's to buy a home. It's to buy a home. So that's all I'm focused on right now. You know, in every phase of your life, you have like different goals, right? One may be, you know, personal, one may be business, or one, you know, whatever it is. You know, sometimes it may be more on your relationships, you know, or your relationship, you know, with your significant other. But for me right now, it's all personal on this home. Like I'm dialed in on that, man. So
have you seen the home? Have you seen the home? Have you like manifested it? Is it like a specific home that you want to buy, or are you just?
Yeah, it's very specific. It's very specific. It's what's funny is the two things that I see are the backyard and the garage. I don't see like but I know exactly what I want to do with the garage and the backyard. But as far as like the home and the closet, I see that, but I don't see the rest of the home. So it's coming piece by piece, you know.
Nice.
But but I am manifested that for sure. Yeah, I'm getting that.
Awesome. Listen, man, Omar, you've been a fantastic guest, man. Thanks for coming on Perform. You added a ton of value today.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for having me.